You're the first person that's ever said this, Kofi. Troy Weaver? You think Troy Weaver's the problem?
Yeah, that is new.
I like that actually.
Really, I think this entire front office just it's been there have been puzzling moves. Whether there's been puzzling moves and the like free agent inactivity. Troy Weaver wrote a letter to the fans at the end of last season, being like, "Hey, we're gonna like, I'm sorry, is this a rebuild? I know it's a tough time." And then in free agency, turns around and gets Joe Harris and Monty Morris, right? And Joe Harris is out of the rotation. Like this was the promise afterwards, right? And now you're just like, okay, what is happening here? And the Wiseman trade, I'm like, that whole thing where we were happy for a little bit, where it's like, because I think what Troy likes to do is he likes to like bargain bin, where it's like, hey, you have all this potential, your number 2 pick. It didn't work out in this situation. Maybe it'll work out for us. Like I think that's his mentality, because he knows that like free agency, he hasn't really made a big free agency splash. I feel like that's his thing. But like Sadiq Bey getting traded, like, and this is after he like put up like 51 against the Warriors, and then it was like, oh, Sadiq Bey's gone, and you're like, what are we? But then you look back and you're like, we had Marvin Bagley already. Like, what are we doing here? And it was painful in summer league watching James Wiseman and Marvin Bagley like shooting threes and like try to be like, oh, I could be the stretch 4, and then everybody's like, I don't think either of y'all got it like that. So it's a real puzzling. The roster construction is puzzling. That's where I'm like, Troy. Also, the draft picks, Killian Hayes, Isaiah Stewart, like the draft picks haven't really panned out the way that we would like, And I think that the Cade, of course, number 1 home run, love that. Jaden Ivey, number 5, I do love that. I think it was either like Pistons fans either wanted Murray or Ivy. Fine with that. 17 wins, getting the 5th pick, getting Asar. I do like Asar. The Pistons do have a wing problem right now. Like there are no wings on this team. Like really, like Kevin Knox at the 4 is like, that was our like, okay. I feel like that's
he don't even got words.
I don't.
Yeah, that's pain. That is true pain.
So I'm telling you, as a Pistons fan over here, like go on Pistons Twitter. I want everyone to go on Pistons Twitter right now and look at the quote tweets for all the starting lineup combinations. Look at all of them. Like read all the replies. Look, that is Pistons fans are upset, and I feel really bad for that social media admin, because they don't.
Oh, you're talking about the official Pistons account.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the official Pistons account with like
accounts. Oh my god.
Because then people will be like on the replies like, why is Killian Hayes starting at the 2? Like why is like you see all these replies of like people just being like, this is, and yeah, you can Monty Williams, but this is Troy Weaver's creation. Like it's not a basketball team. That's why it's not like a coherent basketball team. You know what I'm saying?
I think, I remember me saying this. As far as I understand in these conversations, the only one that signaled this has been me. But like Troy Weaver falls into this category for me as a Hawks fan, of like, I was somewhere else that built a successful roster, and now I'm getting the clout boost of saying I was there. So Troy Weaver is like, oh, hey, he built it. He was part of that OKC. He built OKC. He can come over and, you know what I'm saying? He can do it over here. And in Atlanta, that was Travis Slank, because he was like, oh, yeah, we're just going to make a Warriors East. Just going to make a Warriors East over here. Trae Young is Curry. Kevin Huerter. He'll be Clay.
John Collins, Draymond Green.
DeAndre Hunter. He's going to be the Dre. Like, okay, brother. But no, yeah, I'm glad you signaled that. I do want to ask, and we're all over the place here, but I do want to ask, if you had to divide the pie between who has responsibility for like the Pistons being inept, who would you say? How would you divide that pie?
All right, 0% players.
That's crazy. Kick them off the pie.
0% player. These players.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm very serious.
0.
Where it's like, because I can't be mad at this is like the situation that they're in. Like this team doesn't like it doesn't like it's Monty Williams starting these two big lineups. It's not functional. Like these players, like I think there's been like a misunderstanding from the front office about what each player can do on the team, and then it shows up and you put 5 out. You have you ever played 2K Rec and then you like realize that midway through the game nobody can shoot threes? Like you realize that I feel like this is what's happening where like the player will be like, hey, here's a player like being scouted. I think Troy Weaver's like, hey, this is what I could do. And then Troy Weaver's like, okay, we're just going to add you to this team. And it's like, wait, what about how does he work well with the others? We'll figure that out later. We never figure that out. So I feel like it's like like it might be like 5 or 10% players where it's like in terms of the fact that all it took for a team to beat the Pistons during this losing streak was like 3 minutes of like getting serious and playing like serious basketball. Because it felt like certain teams were like, oh, the Pistons, okay, we can like kind of like just lollygag through this like run, and then we'll go on like a 10-12 run, and then the team just the body language just rolls over. I think it is 30% Monty Williams, because while he's been handed this not coherent roster, like that's where I'm saying where he's been handed a not coherent roster. I think it's 30% Monty Williams, but he has made some questionable roster, like who plays for how long or what and whatnot. Like starting Killian Hayes next to Cade Cunningham was just really painful. Like the lack of space where it took a while for like Cade was getting like the most difficult shot diet like in the league, where it was like there's nothing really Cade can't operate under these conditions, right? So that's where, and the rest of it goes to the front office. Because it's year 4.
So
it's year 4.
So like 60%.
60% front office. It's year 4.
So go ahead. Because
I listen. Don't get me wrong. Again, I've been putting on for the Pistons. I have been out here in these streets screaming for the heavens about this team. I can't get behind 0% player blame. Alec Burks is a player. I'm sorry. I'm at 10. I said 10. I'll do 10.
Okay.
I'll
do 10.
Live with that. There's no way.
I'm like, hey, I think with Pistons fans, I'm like, I'm not really that mad at the team. Like, I'm looking at Cade. I'm like, you're trying your best. I'm looking at Jaden. You're not getting consistent minutes.
You're right.
I'm like, the minutes flopping. I'm like, you can't control that. Isaiah, like Asar Thompson, you'll get 8 minutes one game and then 25 the next. You can't control that.
Right.
Like it's like that kind of thing where I'm like, I can't be mad because I'm like, if Asar and Marcus Sasser aren't going to play that much, I'd rather have them in the G League, because right now it's more about reps, and like right now, then like we're not trying to win. I want Asar to be able to like have reps, whether it's in the G League or NBA. At this point, I don't care. So there's a lot of stuff that's outside of these players' control, and they're not like I don't think these players are really put in a position to succeed because of just how they operate as basketball players. That's why I'm not like being like the players. I don't think like Alec Burks and Isaiah Livers, that those two, it frustrates me seeing Alec Burks get like played this much, because I feel like it shouldn't have to be the case. However, it's another cycle where it's like Monty Williams looks at his bench and goes, okay, I don't know who else, what's going to work over here. I don't know who else can possibly step in. He feels like he doesn't have a choice. Like, so that's why I'm like 10%.
Yeah, no, I get it. Cade's just terrible turnovers, dribbling into people, into crowded areas. Although the area is crowded, but dribbling into crowded areas, that's not a problem. Him not being able to throw a lob pass for real, that's not a problem. Killian Hayes being Killian Hayes is not a problem. I mean, he's also just getting playing time. Jaden Ivey looking like Russell Westbrook. Oh, no, probably not Russell Westbrook. I shouldn't say that. I should probably say more like Cam Reddish offensively, from my remembering of what Cam Reddish is. That's not, bigger than 10%. Alec Burke being Alec Burks, that's not more than 10%. And then the combination of Wiseman and what's Bagley.
So Omar, what is your pie looking like? Just for a clarification.
Ooh,
let's all do the pie at this one.
I would honestly, I agree with the ownership, the management group, all that stuff like that. I believe wholeheartedly in what I said about Troy Weaver and them, because I guess it's like, I don't know if somebody were to say like, yeah, I was there when Walmart was created. I was a part of that initial group. Now, mind you, that guy just took the trash out. He shouldn't get clout. He shouldn't get clout for taking the trash out. Like that's crazy. And I don't know Troy Weaver's involvement, but it's the same thing I say about Travis Schlenk. Yo, I don't know who's giving him credit for finding Draymond, but stop giving him credit for finding Draymond. The nigga was there when like Steph Curry and them got picked, but he was just there. So I give management that same slice. I would flip the players, but just obviously because of inability. Like some of them just they're not able. I'm not mad. I'm mad at Killian Hayes because he's trash, but I understand Killian Hayes should be in the Tanzania league. Like he should not be playing American basketball. He is a Creator League OTE legend. Like I can see that he's light skinned.
Stop saying
he's light skinned.
Sponsored by Factor and everything, right?
Yeah,
That's
he's
Good
amazing.
hair, tattoos. It
That's
works.
what I'm saying.
Good looking too, man. Hey.
You know what's crazy? He's a pretty guy, and I never hear him get like lumped in with the Kelly Oubre's, of the world or whatever. So that's how I know that like he just sucks at basketball. I've never.
Oh my God, Damo, bro.
I've heard that before.
Oh yeah, I have.
I've done it. No, on God, I've done that. I'll put him in those conversations. In terms of sexy NBA players,
Relax. You got
Freak of
all
Meek.
right. My bad.
The freak of Meek is crazy.
And then the last thing is
I don't know ball for real.
The last one I would put the 10% at Monty because, like Kofi just said, when I look down at the bench, it's like, oh damn, Alec Burke took like 4 bad shots. Now, if I put Killian Hayes in, if I put Ivy in, he might just play derpy basketball and derp us into some shots. And then if I put Alec Livers in, stay in, Alec. Stay in, buddy. I guess let me see what we can do there. Same thing with the bigs. Like if I take B Stu, you fucking up. Let me look down here and see who I got. James Wiseman cheesing. Nah, I can't do it. I can't do it.
That's tough.
I can't do it.
I was gonna say I was with Kobe for a bit in terms of not blaming the players and anything like that because they're young and they're learning. It's still a learning process. You're learning how to play. You're learning the game. You're learning how to win. So even if it is Jaden Ivey out here derping his way into shots, he's learning not to derp anymore. Like he got to be put in those situations to learn. Okay, maybe if I hesitate tween into a double team, that's not going to work. He has to go through the fire to realize how not to get burnt. I can feel that. I brought up Alec Burks. I brought up the guys that weren't well. I brought up Alec Burks for the most part because he's not a young guy. Alec Burks has been around the league. He's been in different situations. He's been in different locker rooms. He should know better than to derp his way into shots. Now, I can say after listening to these NBA player-led podcasts and hearing mostly a guy like Evan Turner, who I looked at Evan Turner, damn near how I look at Alec Burks. Like, all right, he's just a guy in the league. Hearing Alec Turner talk about situations he went to where, all right, y'all niggas know I can't shoot threes, and you want me to say 8? Oh, wow. Okay, this ain't my thing. Like, so I hold off. Like, there are players that know, like, all right, I know my game ain't shooting threes. Y'all got me like PJ Tucker. I gotta take 5 or I'm coming out. So to know that, I do want to hold off a little belief that maybe Alec is being told, hey man, listen, the young guys need some type of leader, and he feels the only way he can be a leader is to be the Alec Burks. And that's fucking up. He never had to be the Alec Burks before. So now he's playing. I can see in 10 years, he gets on the podcast like, yeah, man, I was in Detroit. I'm not going to lie. Nigga, Monty came to me and said, I need 20 for you every night. I ain't never had it. I can see.
Yo, this is gross.
I can see a world where I was watching it. We watched Alec Burks play on playback. We are sitting there and all like, yo, Alec ain't never played like this before. Like,
Who does he think he is?
Nah, that's really what it was. I'm like, how the audacity of Alec Burks.
That's why I'm like,
he said, nah, in the corner trap.
That's why I like that. That's why I like that because I feel like a lot of these players are being asked to do something like stuff outside of their job description. Like it's like that. That's where I'm like, I can't. This is not you, but like it should be on the front office to recognize that and not be like. Because people were talking about like Bogdanovich coming back during this losing streak, and like people were like, "Oh yeah, we can't wait till Bogdanovich." I'm like, people were talking about Bogdanovich like he was like a former All-Star, like he's gonna save us, right? He's gonna save this team, right? And then Bogdanovich comes back. We still went like 0-12 after that, So it's like a lot of these players, like Bogdanovich, I feel like on a contender. That's a nice like fourth, fifth option, sixth option. Like that's what he's a number 2 option in Detroit, I think, right now. Like you see what like it's like a lot of people playing above. It's the Jeremy Grant thing where it was like, hey, Jeremy, on a contending like playoff team, you are the third, fourth option. However, in Detroit, Jeremy Grant was taking like all the shots, bro. He was like, I'm gonna get these buckets. I don't really care about we don't really like, yeah. So I feel like it's that. That's why I'm like, I can't be like, this is y'all fault. Y'all just put in positions that y'all know y'all players like limits, but they don't. You know, it's weird.
Yeah. Well, Souls, I don't know if you have your pie ready to go.
I'm gonna just get mine off real quick.
Yeah,
It's
ahead,
essentially Omar's pie, but just a little bit more blame on Monty from like 10 to 15. That's it. But same reasons though. Same reasons.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's no need for me to beat a dead horse here because I'm pretty much we're all on the same. We all see the same vision. We're just coming to different conclusions. At the end of the day, they're young players. Nobody's asking for the Pistons to blow it up. I do think personally, Jaden Ivey and Cade and Desir just won't ever be realistic, especially if you factor Jalen Duren into that future as well. So I think he has upside. He definitely belongs in the league, just maybe not in Detroit. I think we can all agree, hey, even if you do blame Monty, damn it, the roster construction was awful. These are a bunch of players, even if you all think they're talented, they don't belong in the same locker room, god damn it. You have 4 people trying to go to the paint, and we have people talking about maybe a Sir screens being the answer or Cade lobs being the answer. Nobody has solutions because the roster doesn't make any sense. If the Pistons are one of the most active teams at the deadline, it would be a complete troll. But
I don't think you should trade anything. Keep going.
Why?
Really?
What you're the same guy that says you don't see the point of having all these 20-something-year-olds just being stuck here. If there's stagnation, at the very least, if there's stagnation at positions, you gotta move the guys you don't need.
But
There's no reason to have Bagley and Jaden Ivey if it's stagnant those spots.
I don't think right now, based off of what we just put up a 27, 28 game losing streak. What the fuck you think you're gonna get for them? Be honest.
Something.
Okay.
They have more. They have more. Like, and it's not even about. It's not even. No. But it's not. But you look at it long term. It's not even about getting something that's valuable compensation for who those guys were drafted at. Fuck that. Getting them off the roster and open up spots for future moves down the line, or to open us up to do something different. What's the point of keeping them? They walk away and then you get nothing for them.
No, but even then, I think what you're saying is short sighted because and this is just my opinion. I agree with what Kofi said, and we've been talking to Pistons a lot, but I agree with what Kofi said. Hey, Troy Weaver shouldn't be making more decisions, okay? Because he just shouldn't. He just shouldn't. So I honestly don't want Troy Weaver to be the one to pull the plug. Fire him. Let somebody else pull the plug. At least I'll be delusional behind that motherfucker. But I've already seen what Troy Weaver can do with a team. I just don't think that he is the answer. I agree. Getting some of these dudes off the team, fine. But like in my belief, we should trade Jaden Ivey. What do I think he'll bring in for Jaden Ivey? Nothing.
How many years has Troy Weaver been on the team?
I think it's been like 4 or 5. I want to say.
Damn.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. He didn't like just get here.
Yeah.
Like, right? He's been here. Like,
especially when I'm thinking of the years you're talking at peak the bubble and then everything. Let him go.
I got 2 more questions because I know we were talking about the Pistons a lot, so I just got 2 questions. Kofi, as a Pistons fan, I heard you bring up the draft picks that you were okay with and ones you were skeptical about. First question: who do you think y'all should have got, if anyone else, at that 5 pick instead of a sword? Who would you have rather wanted if not a sword?
I don't mind the Asar pick. I don't mind that.
Okay.
Because after 5, I don't mind that because you see how special that man is on defense. Mm-hmm. And I think the thing about the Detroit Pistons, like historically over these last 15 years, is that there have been a lot of players that come here, it doesn't work out, and they go to an actual like better organization and they figure out their role there. It fits, right? So like examples are KCP and Bruce Brown. Like for the Nuggets, perfect role for them. However, when you were on the Pistons for that roster, it's not working like out. So I can't like blame the Asar pick. I see the talent, I see the potential. Like, however, like this team is not the team that you're gonna like be able to maximize what you can provide, right? Where it's like, yeah, we don't have any spacers. Asar doesn't like make it better. And now it's like it feels redundant where it's just a painful kind of thing. So I don't really mind the pick. It's just that like everybody else, I'm like, it's not a good situation for you right now.
Okay. And my last question. All right, the season ends. Troy Weaver is fired. Your phone rings. The Detroit Pistons want you to run the team. Let me hear what your plan is for this offseason for this exact Pistons team. What will you do? Kofi, you're the GM. You're the president of basketball operations. Troy Weaver's the fuck out of there. This is all you. What are you doing?
Oh my God. The people I'd want to trade Burks and Livers, obviously, or like whatever, get them out of there first. That's my first line of and then I would trade Bogey. I would have to. I like that's the only because seeing those reports where like I don't know if these are true or not, but I was like seeing these reports being like the Pistons don't want to trade Bogey for like future first round picks.
What the fuck?
And I'm like, I saw that and I was like, nah, that has to be NBA Kentel. That can't be the real account, right? You know, it's stuff like that. But I think you just have to do the draft thing. I feel like analyze it, trying to overpaying for a free agent where it's like currently like I like what the Rockets did getting Van Vliet and Dylan Brooks. I actually like I'm looking back at it, I'm like, actually, it's not the bad because like you're not gonna compete now, but you need players to bridge that gap. You can't just have these players like not they're this young, they're this inexperienced. Like you can't just like throw all young inexperienced players. You have to have some kinds of like vets on here. So I'd opt for more vets, and if that entail means getting rid of like a core four, whether it's Ivy, Asar, Cade, or Duran, like I get it.
Yeah, fuck Ivy.
I think it's Ivy. I wouldn't get rid of Cade. I wouldn't.
Yeah, I'm
get
about to
rid of
say.
Duran.
Saying
No,
Hayden.
no, I'm saying. No, I'm not. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not.
Yeah.
I think Ivy is the odd man out there out of those three. So I feel like that would probably be something I would look at. Also, I would get Killian Hayes off my team. I feel like, and it's not
Less is more.
and it's
type
not
shit.
anything. And it's not anything. I think the thing about Killian Hayes is that it's been 4 years, and I do see, which is weird. I know that the Killian Hayes gets a lot of like hate and like it's like a meme at this point, but there's a part of me that's like Killian Hayes as a backup point guard in like the perfect situation, because there are things that he can do on the offense. Like he's a fine passer and whatnot. And if you get him in that where it's like, hey, this is Killian Hayes, set up your teammates, don't shoot a mid-range jump shot. Like I would love but this is not the team for that. So if that's like that, like it's either it's done. It's 4 years. Like I
You're
don't know
done, buddy.
I don't know. I don't know what else I can say. I think those are my like main like motivations or
Put
something.
him on the Suns or something.